What's up, guys and gals? Iceman here. Welcome to Hunting Tales. So the dogman slash werewolf theories seem to be very prevalent now, and I've noticed on YouTube and Reddit and all that a lot of folks are swearing by these things. And what's crazy is when I was a kid, probably about 8 years old, late at night, I got scared and I decided to go to my parents' bedroom. So I knock on the door. They reluctantly open it up. My dad's frustrated in bed, just not liking it how his son's a little wimp or whatever. But then my mom took me in. And I remember I lied down in bed next to them with my face sort of facing toward where their TV was. This was a waterbed, and I was way at the edge of it, with plenty of walking space between where I was and the wall. And I started to daze off, but something crazy happened later that night. I remember waking up and just opening my eyes, and this tall figure was standing in front of me, this tall, dark figure with ears that were up and pointy like this. And the thing was almost wearing a garment or a robe or a chainmail or something like that. And it just towered over me and watched me as I slept. It was terrifying. And ever since that day, I just can't help but wonder if these things are out there, be it in a spiritual form or a different form for that matter. But I was doing some research on the internet, and I came across this crazy story. And this is just one of many. So stay tuned for this channel if you guys want to hear more of these encounters, because they seem to really be adding up, especially in modern times. But there was this woman who was in her early 20s. She was a nurse. She was a very intelligent, intricate young woman. So it just doesn't seem like she'd make this up. But she worked for a hospital, and late at night one time, she got off her shift and she began driving home. She lived in a rural area. And on the way home, she saw this sort of figure on the side of the road. It was lying down, and she thought it was a dog. So she slowed down because she loved animals, especially dogs. And she stopped her car. And this figure, it was sort of hunched over on the side of the road. And when she looked over at it, it began standing upright. And she had her door cracked open. She called to it, wanting to help the animal. But then it just kept standing up until it was up on its hind legs. And it stared at her for a few minutes. And it was just a terrifying encounter. So she closed her door and was very hesitant, and the animal ended up scampering off into the woods. But she claims to this day that it was on 2 feet, and it was taller than your average man, very hairy, robust, agile, and quick. And like I said, these stories have just been adding up. I've been going across YouTube, and it's just crazy the amount of people who are just adding to this potential reality that these creatures are among us. Some of them say that they've been hidden by the government. Some say that they're hybrids of a sort made in a lab by some deep state government or whatever. Others say that they're angelic beings or fallen angels like the Nephilim spoken of in the Bible. These sort of hybrids, or some say that they're interdimensional beings that transition in and out of what we know to be reality. But it's just a crazy thing. And with how I had that encounter as a kid, I just can't help but give these stories a second listen and not just instantly dismiss them as false. But I'm curious what you guys have to say about that. But nonetheless, this woman who was the nurse, she went as far as to tell all of her friends about this story, all of her coworkers, and all of her family. And then decades pass, and the story still lives with her to this day. So, I mean, is she really making this stuff up? Or is there something more here going on? But nonetheless, I'm curious what you guys have to say about it. And if you will, like this video, subscribe to this page. This is my Haunting Tales channel. And I'll see you guys soon with more haunting tales from the Iceman.